Welcome to Thai Movie Recap. Today we're going to explore a film that blurs the line between what's seen and unseen, between cinema and the supernatural. This is Coming Soon 2008, a story about guilt, fear, and the haunting power of the screen itself. You ever wonder what happens when the ghost you watch in a horror movie starts watching you back? The reel begins. We open inside a dark, nearly empty movie theater, one of those old, dusty cinemas that smell like mold and burnt popcorn. On the screen, a terrifying scene plays out, an old woman with long, wet hair being dragged by police officers. She's screaming, crying, and the crowd in the theater gasps. The scene looks too real, because it is. The woman's name is Chaba, a deranged mother who was accused of kidnapping and blinding children. In the film within the film, she's being hanged for her crimes, her eyes wild, her mouth trembling as the noose tightens. But when the stool is kicked away, something's wrong. Her body jerks violently, eyes still open. Then, the lights flicker in the theater. A man in the projection booth, Chalerm, the projectionist, frowns. The film reel stutters for a second. He peers through the glass, watching Chaba hang. And suddenly, her head snaps toward him, staring right into the lens. Chalerm's face turns pale. He steps back. Then, the projector bulb bursts. Sparks fly. He screams, and the reel burns to black. The next morning, the police find Chalerm's body hanging in that same projection room, just like Chaba. And from there, the curse begins to spread. The man behind the film. Enter Shane, played by Chantavit Dhanasevi, a young movie technician, charming but careless. He works in film editing, helping splice together horror scenes for the studio. But he's got problems. He's broke, addicted to gambling, and in debt. He owes money to dangerous people. So when his friend Som, a coworker at the studio, tells him about an opportunity to make quick cash by leaking a copy of a new horror film, Shane doesn't hesitate. The movie? It's the same one about Chaba, the spirit of vengeance. They sneak into the studio late at night when everyone's gone. Som waits by the door. Shane steps into the projection room, where reels of unfinished film sit in stacks. He threads one into the machine, presses play, and as the film begins to roll, the sound of static fills the room. He watches Chaba's execution scene, again, the hanging. But this time, something's different. The angle changes. He sees the crew filming the scene, and then the camera pans too far. He sees Chaba's eyes moving long after she's supposed to be dead. Then the projector begins to play itself backwards. Her body rises again, rope untwisting, and she looks directly at the lens. Whispering begins. "Don't watch me." Shane, whispering to himself, "What the hell? This isn't in the script." Suddenly the reel snaps. The film whips out of the machine. The lights go out. Then, a faint figure at the far corner of the room. Hair hanging down, bare feet. A voice, raspy, broken. Chaba, off-screen whisper, "Are you watching me? Again?" The next morning, Shane wakes up at home, sweating. He tries to shake it off, blaming lack of sleep. But strange things start happening. His phone rings at 3 a.m. When he answers, all he hears is the sound of film spinning. Then, voices. Children crying, and a woman humming. He rushes to the bathroom, splashes water on his face. When he looks up, a wet footprint is visible behind him on the tile. He turns. Nothing there. But the mirror fogs up, and a message appears. "See you in the next show." Shane starts losing his grip on reality. He visits Charlie, his best friend, a projectionist at a local theater, to confess what's happening. "Charlie, I think something's following me. It's from that movie." Charlie, laughing nervously, "Come on, man. It's just a film. You've been working too hard." But later that night, as Charlie plays a test reel from the same movie, he too sees something move inside the frame. A shadow walking behind the actors, slowly turning toward him. Whispering returns. "You shouldn't have watched it." The film inside the film days later, Shane and Charlie decide to investigate. They trace the original film shoot to a long-abandoned rural theater where the final scene of Chaba's hanging was filmed. Inside, the place is decayed, chairs covered in dust, the smell of rust and mildew. On the wall, torn posters of old Thai horror films fade into the plaster. Charlie sets up his flashlight. Shane walks toward the stage, where the gallows once stood. He touches the beam. It's still damp. Then he finds a piece of old film strip stuck between the boards. He picks it up, squints, and freezes. It's a frame showing himself in this exact room right now. The projector in the corner, unplugged, broken, suddenly starts spinning. On the screen, they see the hanging scene, again. Only this time, Chaba is not being hanged. She's standing, staring directly out of the screen. Her lips move. Chaba, you made money from my death. Shane, terrified. No, it was just a film. Chaba, whispering. You turned my pain into entertainment. Then the rope in the scene flicks outward, out of the screen, and wraps around Shane's neck. Charlie rushes to pull it off, but all he grabs is air. Shane's eyes roll back. He falls. The beam creaks. When the police find him, he's hanging in the exact same spot Chaba died on film. Faint echo of a woman laughing. The final scene. Weeks later, the cursed movie is released anyway. People fill the theaters, eager to be scared. During the hanging scene, audiences scream, laugh, cry. But a few people notice something strange. In one quick frame, they see a young man hanging behind Chaba. No one remembers filming that. Epilogue. Reflections on fear. In coming soon, the real horror isn't the ghost on screen. It's the audience. It's us. The ones who watch suffering for entertainment. Who replay death until it becomes art. Sophon Sakdapisit's debut film asks, when we look at horror, what do we really see? Are we looking at fiction or at our own fascination with pain? Chaba's curse is not about revenge. It's about being seen, finally, by the people who ignored her suffering. A ghost's vengeance is just the echo of our guilt. And maybe next time you sit in a dark theater and the lights begin to dim, remember, you might not be the only one watching. The faces behind the fear. After Shane's death, rumors began to spread. Some said the reel was cursed. Others said he simply went mad. But those who knew him best, they knew there was more to the story. The woman behind the curtain. Before the film, The Spirit of Vengeance, was ever finished, there was a rumor about its lead actress, a once famous stage performer named Orapan, who disappeared midway through shooting. Some say she couldn't handle the stress. Others say she became possessed by the spirit of the real Chaba. On the last day of filming, the director had demanded realism. He told her, "When you die, I want to see regret in your eyes." She asked what he meant. He said, "Just feel it. Imagine you're really being punished." And when the crew yelled action and the rope tightened around her neck, her body twisted just right. Her face, perfect horror. Too perfect. The cameraman whispered, "It's real." When they cut her down, Orapan wasn't breathing. Her eyes were open, staring straight into the camera. No one ever reported it. The studio hushed it up. They finished the film using doubles and digital editing, and the next month, the projectionist Chalerm was found dead. That was the beginning of the chain. Shane's descent. Shane wasn't just haunted by Chaba. He was haunted by himself. His job, cutting film, deleting scenes, adjusting lighting, was all about control. He decided what people got to see and what they didn't. But now, the images were controlling him. He'd see Chaba's face flicker in reflections, between edits, in the blank frames between shots. One night, he sat in front of his monitor, watching frame by frame. At first, just the hanging scene. But then, after the supposed final frame, the image continued. Chaba was looking straight at the camera, and behind her, a shadow of a man filming her death. It was him, Shane. "Shane, this isn't possible." Static, then a faint woman's voice. "It's your turn." He runs his hand across the desk. Blood smears across his palm. He looks down. The film reel is cutting into his skin. He screams. Som's discovery. Som, his co-worker and secret lover, begins to worry. When he doesn't show up for work, she sneaks into his editing room. The monitors are still on, each one looping a single image. Chaba's face. Som presses pause. The power shuts off. All screens go black, except one. It flickers, and suddenly shows herself, standing in the room, right now. Her reflection tilts its head, out of sync. "Don't look away." Som screams, shoving the monitor off the desk. It crashes to the ground, screen cracking. But inside the glass, a face grins back at her. The theater returns. Hauntings spread like rumors, invisible but infectious. Soon, the abandoned theater where Chaba was hanged becomes a local legend. Teenagers sneak in, daring each other to stay through the night. Some say they hear a projector running. Some claim to see a film still playing, even though there's no electricity left in the building. One of them, a boy named Kit, records it on his phone. When he replays the clip later, he doesn't see himself. He sees rows of people sitting in the theater watching him. Chaba's story. Who was Chaba really? Before she became a ghost, she was a single mother, desperate, poor, trying to support her blind child. She begged outside temples. She cleaned the homes of the rich. One day, her daughter vanished, kidnapped by the very people she worked for. When Chaba went to the police, they laughed. They called her crazy. They said she probably sold her own child. So she took matters into her own hands. She kidnapped children from the same village, trying to find her daughter among them, but never did. When the mob found her, they beat her until her eyes bled. And when they hung her, she was already half dead. Her final words were, "One day they will watch, and they will see." The connection. When Shane leaked the film, he unknowingly became part of that cycle, a man using another's pain for profit. Just like the director who used Orapan's death. Just like the villagers who ignored Chaba's screams. Each viewer became part of the curse, not because they believed, but because they watched. There's a kind of mirror horror here, the idea that every time you witness suffering, you're part of it. In Coming Soon, the camera lens isn't just a window, it's a trap, a cycle of guilt. Every person who watches that reel is pulled into its memory, until the line between viewer and victim disappears. And maybe that's what Chaba wanted all along, not revenge, but remembrance. But the story doesn't end here, because the film still exists, still waiting, still playing somewhere, in the dark. We'll enter the theater one last time, where the screen itself becomes a mirror and the final show never ends. The faces behind the fear. You ever walk into a place that feels wrong, not because of what you see, but because of what you don't see? That's what Som felt the night she returned to the old theater, the one Shane disappeared in, the one where they said Chaba's spirit lived inside the final reel. It's been weeks since Shane died. The official report called it suicide, but Som knew better. She'd seen things. Reflections that moved on their own, shadows where there shouldn't be any. Faint whisper, play the film. On the floor of the projection room, she finds the reel, unmarked, old, the title scratched off. Her hands shake as she threads it through the machine. The bulb flickers, the screen glows white, and for the first time in years, the theater breathes again. The film begins. The first few minutes look like an ordinary Thai horror film. A woman tied up, villagers yelling, a rope hanging from the rafters. But as the image sharpens, Som notices something strange. The woman's face. It's not the actress Orapan. It's her own. Distorted voices overlap. Why did you look? You saw it. She gasps, stepping back, but the screen moves with her. Her reflection on the film mimics her, frame by frame. And then, the woman on screen turns to face the camera and says, "You're watching me die again." The loop Som tries to stop the film, but the controls won't move. She yanks the power cord. Nothing happens. The reel keeps spinning, backwards now. The images rewind, but this time she's inside the projection room, on screen. Her every motion mirrors what she's doing in real life, until one frame freezes. Her reflection looks up, but she hasn't moved, and then the reflection smiles. Lights, camera, death. The screen explodes into static, and out of the light steps a figure, barefoot, wet hair clinging to her shoulders. Neck tilted, rope still hanging loosely. Chaba. The confession. Chaba. They watched me die. They clapped when I stopped moving. I didn't mean to. I didn't. Chaba. You saw me. You watched. And you did nothing. Chaba's hands reach forward, not to strangle, but to show. Flashes of her life play across the walls. Her daughter's laughter, the villagers' cruelty, the moment her feet left the ground. And now, every person who's ever watched that scene has become another pair of eyes in the darkness. Thousands of whispers overlapping. We saw. We saw. We saw. The breaking point. Som screams, throws the reel across the floor. The film strip unravels like veins, wrapping around her wrists and neck. The images keep rolling, her life flashing in reverse, Shane editing, her laughing with him, the night he died. She realizes he wasn't just a victim. He'd filmed Chaba's final scene himself. Every time he replayed it, every edit he made, he was reenacting her death, again and again. The guilt wasn't just haunting him, it was calling her back. Soft whisper, now it's your turn to watch. The inversion Som opens her eyes. She's no longer in the projection room. She's sitting in a theater seat. Rows and rows of empty chairs surround her. On the screen, a woman is walking toward a projector. It's her. She realizes she's in the film now, and somewhere behind her, someone is watching. She turns around slowly. The seats are full. Every face, pale, wide-eyed, motionless. Viewers, spectators, all dead. And in the very last row, Shane. He raises a finger to his lips. Whisper, shh, it's starting. The last frame. The last frame plays. It's Chaba hanging, her face motionless, her eyes staring directly into the lens. But as the reel clicks to an end, the image doesn't disappear. Her eyes move. She smiles. Cut to black. Aftermath. A week later, the police arrive. The projector is still running. No one in the room. Just the empty reel spinning endlessly. They find Som's phone recording on the floor. The footage shows her entering the theater, and then static. Her body is never found. Epilogue, reflection. When we talk about horror, we often say it's about ghosts, revenge, fear of the unknown. But coming soon, it's not just a ghost story. It's about us, the audience, the watchers. It asks one brutal question. If you enjoy watching others suffer, at what point do you become part of the suffering? Chaba's curse wasn't random. It spread through sight, through voyeurism. Every person who watched her pain kept her alive in their memory. She became the embodiment of cinematic guilt, a ghost born from our hunger for horror. And maybe that's the real fear, that every frame of violence we watch, every scream we replay, every tragedy we consume for entertainment is watching us back. So next time you're in a dark theater and the lights go down and the screen flickers to life, take a look around. Make sure the faces beside you are still breathing. See you in the next show. You've been listening to Coming Soon, the film that watched you back, a retelling of the 2008 Thai horror film directed by Sophon Sakdapisit, starring Chantavit Dhanasevi, Orapan Rojanawat, Arpasanan Arjamran, and Sakulrath Thomas. If you enjoyed this episode, remember, don't just watch horror, listen to what it's trying to tell you. Thank you for listening to Thai Movie Review and Spoil. This was a heavy one, a story that leaves you with a lot to think about. What are your thoughts on the film? Which scene has stayed with you all these years? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. That's all the time we have for today. Until next time, goodbye.